Hello and welcome. I'm Jodi Carlton, creator of Spectrum Relationships and your host for Neurodiverse Relationship Q&A. I created this program for those of you who are in relationships that are neurodiverse. So maybe that's you that's on the spectrum, or maybe it's your partner, or maybe you're just not sure. But either way, join me every other week for a Q&A session. And be sure to subscribe or follow my channel for updates on all the programs and courses that I have, and to watch or listen to tips to help you in your relationship. So, what will we talk about today? Hey, you guys. How was everybody's holiday? How was everybody's Christmas? I hope everybody's having a really happy holiday. I know not all of you celebrate Christmas. So for some of you, it's been Hanukkah and other holidays, and some of you just don't celebrate at all, or maybe you just enjoy the gifts. So we had a really awesome Christmas here. Hi, Rianne. Good evening. I know it's pretty late there for you in the UK. I just want to chat with you guys here as we're going into the new year, saying goodbye to 2021, looking into 2022, and I want to talk a little bit about resolutions and ask you what your thoughts are on resolutions. What are your thoughts on it? But before we start our conversation, I have a couple of things to share with you that I'm pretty excited about. I'm going to also share with you what we have to offer you guys. We got some really brand new stuff coming up for you guys in 2022. And one of the things that is new in our coaching program is our new community. And I've already launched it. I was so excited. I couldn't wait for 2022. So let me see if I can figure out how to share my screen here. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. I think you guys can see it. Ryan, you're already in the community. So this is like a little welcome video there. I don't know if you can hear the audio, but anyway, this is our community. It's off. So we already have the private Facebook group that a lot of you are in already. But Facebook, God love them. They really have limited me from being able to talk to you guys in there. They don't show my post to you guys. And so I used to be able to teach you and coach you and give you tips and go live in there. And then they just stopped showing everything to everybody. And I can't interact with you in there. And it really got me frustrated. And so we created this community that's not associated with any of the major platforms. This is ours, and they will let me talk to you. You can talk to me. And so the other thing about it is, so we have a section in here that is, you do need to be a member, but it's free to be a member. And it's like a feed, like on Facebook. It's a group where we talk to each other. You post in there, and I'm in there, and we already have people jumping in and talking to each other. So I encourage everybody to say hello, and you post your questions. But also, any announcements that we have coming up will be here, so you will not miss anything. Any events that we have coming up, like today's Q&A, any webinars we have coming up, which, by the way, we've got a Valentine's webinar series coming up, and any coaching groups, which enrollment is currently open, you guys, for the coaching group for Crack the Communication Code. So when you join this group, you will not miss anything, and you can talk to us in there. So hop on over. All you have to do to join, just go over to Spectrum Relationships, to the main website, and there's a tab at the top that says Community, and just click on Community, and that's how you come over and join us. So I also wanted to share with you, let's see, remove. Well, I don't think I can share another screen. I don't know how to do it. Anyway, to enrollment, Crack the Communication Code, my coaching group is open right now, you guys. The enrollment's been open through Christmas. You've missed the early bird. I've been sending emails out to you guys. You've missed the early bird enrollment, which gave you a pretty big discount for the coaching group. But enrollment will close on January 3rd. And so that coaching group starts on January 5th. We meet Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. It's a 6-week coaching group. Now we do We do have 2 bonus calls. It's an awesome communication program, you guys. People come back. After you've graduated from it, you get to come back. So if you're a graduate and you're here on the call, um, it should still be in your coaching portal. Don't forget that you can log in and join any of those sessions. We'll be sending you out an email or a text reminder encouraging you to join. It is a game changer, you guys, this coaching group. So if you're interested and you want to know more, go to the website. All right, let's see. Hi, Carolyn. Welcome from Australia. I love to see you guys over there on the western side of the world. Um, and I've had clients over there in Australia, and I love working with you guys. So let's talk about New Year's. I'm going to close this window out here, so I'm having trouble finding my camera. I feel like I'm looking all over the place to you guys tonight. Sorry. Let's talk about New Year's because, and any questions that you guys have for me, go ahead and drop them in the comments here. I hear different things from those of you who are autistic and those of you who are neurotypical about the holidays in general, the nostalgia of the holidays. And, some of my autistic folks just don't really see the point in what's the difference in Christmas and any other day of the year, in celebrating and getting gifts, because a lot of my autistic folks say, I love you every day of the year. And that's part of what we're going to talk about on this Valentine's series, this webinar that's coming up too, because it's a big day that results in heartbreak and hurt. And we're going to talk about how to approach that holiday, understanding each other better, and understanding the dynamics there in your neurodiverse relationship. But Christmas, gift giving, and then New Year's resolutions can be a kind of a hotbed for misunderstandings for those of you who are autistic versus those of you who are neurotypical. Because a lot of my autistic folks, neurodiverse folks, Asperger's, whatever term you prefer, don't necessarily see the point in making a resolution at the beginning of the year. And others of you do. It varies. This is not all of you are the same, you guys. But the feedback I've gotten from a lot of my autistic folks is that they strive, and I say you guys, I am neurotypical. I'm not autistic. So those of you who are on the spectrum tell me, I seek to be, to solve the problems in my life every day of the year, and January 1st is no different. It's nothing special. Whereas my neurotypical folks tend to look at the new year as kind of a review, looking back, looking back at the last year, the years past, what, what was Hey, you guys, are you still there? My system completely crashed. Somebody say hello if you're still there. It looks like some of you are still there. Thank you. Oh my gosh, that was crazy, you guys. My computer systems. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Kevin. My computer completely like rebooted itself, and I'm glad that StreamYard, my streaming system, kept going. So thanks for staying around, you guys, sticking around and waiting. Okay, so I was just saying that a lot of my neurotypical folks really enjoy the nostalgia of the review of the years past and looking forward to kind of look ahead and anticipate how what kind of changes that that you want to make in the year coming up. So I got several of you on here now. We did a few people dropped off, but it looks like people are coming back. How do you guys look at resolutions? Talk to me, and then also ask what questions do you have. This is a Q&A. We have New Year's coming up, so I thought resolutions would be a cool thing to talk about. But I also want to hear any questions you have. So, how do you approach resolutions, and what questions do you have for me? Because you guys know I'll just keep on talking if you don't talk to me in your comments. Hi, Kevin, who's still here after my big system crash. Rand says, yeah, I never do them as it never works. Okay, that's interesting. So that outcome is important to you, huh? So the resolution, does it feel like a wish to you? Does a resolution feel like a wish? What do you think of as a resolution? A New Year's resolution? Sometimes, yeah. So when we do make New Year's resolutions, if we're thinking of them as a wish, so you said, like, one of mine is to find someone. So, and that is something that's also largely dependent on external things, to find someone, to be in a relationship with someone. It's, there are a lot of external variables that you can't control there. Um, Anybody else here have any, what other, is there a review aspect of a resolution, and, um, looking back and reviewing, how would looking back at my life, and then what do I want to change about going forward in the new year? I'm curious if anybody has any differing opinions on that. Looks like we lost a lot of people when my video froze, so a lot of folks may not come back. Sorry about the tech issues. So, Rand, you're saying change behaviors, etc. But hey, no help on that respect. So you're struggling to have people or support and help in changing different behaviors. So a way that you can use a New Year's resolution is to continue to identify people in your world that can help you with making those changes. And I know that you've continued to do that over the last couple of years. You've been working on identifying those people in your world. Yeah. So, okay. So what questions do you guys have for me? Rand, do you have questions for me? What questions do you guys have? This is a Q&A. Anybody how did your Christmas go? What questions do you have about the upcoming year? I see some new names today. I didn't have any questions submitted to me. Well, we didn't send any emails out asking you, but you can always email me questions before the Q&A. I'm curious, what was your favorite gift, or did your holidays go well so far? Everybody, things going well? What kind of struggles or challenges have you had over your holiday? Talk to me, you guys. You're quiet today. Are you tired? You know what's crazy here? I'm in Georgia in the United States, and it is so warm today. It's December, you guys, and we are having the warmest weather. It's in the 70s here. I don't know what that would be there in the UK or other parts of the world that doesn't use this that you guys are in like the metric system. Um, but it's very, very warm and it just doesn't feel like Christmas time. I'm ready for some colder weather. Rianne says mine was crazy due to my niece and nephew um, been flat out sleeping yesterday. So you have younger nieces and nephews, I believe. So that can be pretty overwhelming to your sensory system. Yeah. So I was just talking earlier about New Year's resolutions. Um, so we have Valentine's Day coming up, and uh, something that I actually just did a TikTok that I posted today on trust, and I'm about to do a series on shoulds, and I posted a video here on YouTube about shoulds, um, and all of this trust and shoulds are about expectations, and trust is something we expect or we want from our relationship, and shoulds are what we expect of ourselves and what we expect of our partner. And all three of those, trust and shoulds, or three. I said three because I'm thinking of you should and I should as two separate things. All of those three contribute to whether or not we experience disappointment around times like holidays, like Christmas, New Year's. New Year's Eve is a big holiday. And some of you may be really wanting, like some of you who are neurotypical, may be really wanting to celebrate on New Year's Eve, whether that's to go out or to stay in and have people over and have a big party or a big celebration. Whereas those of you who are autistic or on spectrum, that may feel nightmarish to you to go out in the crowds with the party horns and the drinking and the loud, and the traffic, but if you have different expectations of how to celebrate, um, then that can cause a divide in your relationship. And the thing is, nobody's right or wrong about this, and neither one of you really gets to decide who trumps the other. And this is where it can get complicated in your relationship because nobody gets, to be right and wrong. The problem is if one of you really wants the other to come over to your side. So if it's also really important to one of you that you both be together for New Year's Eve, but you also want to go out and celebrate. And so you want to be together and you want to go out and celebrate. And let's say your partner would like to be with you, but really doesn't want to go out, but is okay if you go out. Then you might feel like, well, my partner just doesn't want to be with me and can't do this for me. Why can't my partner do this with me? Why won't my partner do this with me? Why can't my partner just deal? Because this is so important to me. The thing is not going out is also very important to your partner. And so nobody gets to decide who's more important than the next, who's more important in that decision. And so this is tough, you guys, because in a relationship, nobody really is more important than the other. And we don't get to say to our partner, well, if you loved me or if you cared, you would do this for me. Because we don't really know how much of an ask it is. To us, we might understand that, yeah, going out and partying, that's a lot. It's loud. We might understand, but we may not understand how much of an ask that it is. So we don't get to just say to our partner, it's really not that big of a deal. We don't get to do that. Um, so if you feel disappointed because your partner doesn't want to do what you want to do, um, that's life. It's life. Sometimes we're not going to have the same wishes and we're not going to have the same desires. And that's why I've given you guys the 2 to 10 scale to ask yourself, how important is this really to me? And how much is it going to impact my life? Would I like my partner to go out and spend New Year's Eve with me? Yeah, that would be really awesome. In the grand scheme of my life, is it, how important is that to me, that I have a partner that wants to celebrate New Year's Eve with me? 10 is a deal breaker. I can't live without it. I can't live my life that way. I don't think that's a deal breaker. It's not for me anyway. I'd love to have a partner who wants to celebrate with me, but it's not a deal breaker. And how much is it impacting my life? It's one night a year, not that much. Use your scale, you guys. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to Crack the Communication Code. It's step 1. Kevin says, I think my New Year's Eve will be just me and my 6-year-old daughter doing our usual thing and then going to bed before midnight. Perfect for us. Okay. So Kevin's saying, hey, I am not going to stay up and do this late night countdown thing. My 6-year-old isn't either. And he's saying this is perfect for us. So for him, this big thing of staying up and counting, it's just not something that he wants to do. It's not something he values and not something he wants to engage in. And so going to bed early and just getting it, that's his idea of New Year's Eve. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. He has a 6-year-old daughter, and she doesn't want to stay up late or, doesn't need to stay up late. And so that's okay. That works for him. Rianne says, this year, I think New Year's Eve is definitely going to be different, possibly be on Facebook and watch TV and then sleep, as that is all I can cope with, especially with the COVID situation here in the UK. Yeah, that's the other thing. Some of you may not be able to even go out because of COVID. We're starting to have numbers spike here in the US where I live as well. And we don't have curfews or mandates right now to keep us at home. But yeah, but people are concerned. And so that's another thing, you guys. It's really important to be respectful of how your partner feels as far as your partner's concerns about COVID. I talked about this a lot when COVID really first came on the scene back in 2019. I've got several videos about it. I think I know I shared with you guys, and if you're newer to me, I was in a 2-year relationship myself that ended. It was off and on with a man who was on the spectrum. He was undiagnosed, and he was not in agreement with me that he was on the spectrum, but he absolutely was. But what really ended our relationship was he really was not able to recognize my concerns about COVID. And I mean, this was early, before vaccinations existed, before we even knew what COVID was going to do to us. And so I had some pretty major concerns about my health. And so if you want to, those videos are here on YouTube that I've done, but it's, we're several years into this, and we all have very different feelings and beliefs and concerns, and nobody gets to tell anybody else how they're supposed to feel about anything, whether it's COVID or anything in life. None of us get to decide for another human being what they're supposed to feel or think or believe, because we're all coming from different perspectives, different points of view, different knowledge base. We all have very different information. And so we it's very important when we're in a relationship or a marriage to respect how our partner feels, what they believe, and what they think, even if it's different from our own. We don't have to agree. This is something that a lot of spouses and partners struggle with, that respecting my partner's opinion means I agree. That's not the case. You can respect means you acknowledge your partner's right and their ability to have a legitimate opinion of their own. You can do that without having that same opinion. You can tell your partner, look, I disagree with that, but I respect you and your right to have your own opinion. All right, I've got a comment in a different language that I can't understand, so sorry about that. Kevin says, "We do like fireworks, though, so you might have to set your alarm, Kevin, for 11:55 so you can get up and watch those fireworks and then go back to sleep." So maybe that's a solution for you. My poor dog does not like the fireworks at all. So I'm going to have to, I don't know, I'm gonna have to play some really loud music in the house or something so that she doesn't. She absolutely has major stress over the fireworks. So I like them though. I like them myself. What other thoughts do you guys have for me today? I kind of thought it would be quiet today since we're in the middle of the holidays. And then my computer conked out in the middle of this. So people left. Anybody else? Or we'll call it a night early. Any other questions? Okay, well, again, I just want to reiterate for those of you who weren't here that the communication coaching group's about to close. The enrollment's closing on January 3rd. So people are enrolling in it, and it is space limited, you guys, because I don't want a big crowd. I only allow a certain number of couples to be in that coaching group, and you are on Zoom calls with me. It is an absolutely groundbreaking relationship game changer. So if you're not ready for a coaching group, though, you can do the self-paced course, which is a self-study program, and just go to Crack the Communication Code. Casey says, after having recently done your classes, I thought, sure, we're good for the holidays. Wrong. Oh, we both got COVID and my mom was in the hospital over Christmas. We're not in a good place. Oh, Casey, I am so sad to hear that. I'm so sad to hear that. You said going to have to go back to the basics of your course. Now, let me just say, okay, you guys, so Casey and her husband just actually went through the last session of the coaching group that I'm talking about. And so they have just freshly learned the strategies and the tools and they're learning to implement them. And I always tell my people who go through this program that it takes time, that you're in the beginning, you're learning to recognize what to do. You learn to recognize where your communication is breaking down in the beginning. And the first step is recognizing it. And over time, you'll be looking back and going, oh, I see what I did there. And then eventually you'll start to implement the tools and the skills that you learn in the program. But it takes time. And the first step is recognizing it. And this is why once you've gone through this coaching group, it's free to come back forever. And I do have couples come back over and over again to continue to work on their skills and to implement them. And I see this beautiful transformation happening over the course of time. And so Casey, I want to just give you some encouragement and some hope because I always expect to see some steps back, especially when there are major stressors. Even this is so true for all of us, no matter what. When you've learned how to do something better, whether it's your relationship, whether it's parenting, even in your job, at work, when you've learned how to implement something new and then some big stressor happens in your life, we all tend to backslide into old habits. And think about when you've any of us when we've kind of implemented a new healthier eating and then we something stressful happens in our life, what do? We go back to our stress foods. I grab the popcorn and the ice cream and the chips, my stress foods. So I'm not at all surprised that you guys are falling back into old routines, and I don't want you to be discouraged by that at all. That doesn't mean that you haven't learned anything. That just means that you're going through a very difficult experience, and I'm so sad to hear that everybody's got COVID and, the let's see, it's his mom that's in the hospital. I hope everything turns out okay there. Just get through this crisis right now, and eventually you'll get back to working on these skills. Use your 2 or 10. Use the 2 or 10 model to help you get through the crisis because that 2 or 10 model helps you pick the battles. It helps you pick what's really critical to even discuss. What can you let go? The 2 or 10 model helps you figure out what can I let go? What do we even need? Do we even need to discuss this right now? Is this even worth discussing? And what can we just let go? So don't stress out that you guys are falling right back into old patterns. I would totally expect that. And when you're ready, if you're able to join this group that's in January, hop on in. It's free for you, but if you're not, just get healthy. Just get healthy and jump in the next session. You guys take care of yourself. I'm so COVID. Hey, Charlene. Charlene's one of my graduates too, you guys, from a while back. Charlene says, we went through your communication group too. I'm always on the lookout for the inevitable misunderstandings or misinterpretations. Yeah, Charlene, you went through the program. It's been a while. Casey said, thank you. It was scary to see the same roller coaster things come up. This gives me hope. Yeah, I'm not concerned about that. I am not concerned at all. That is exactly what I would expect to see when you have a major stressor in your life. So don't sweat it. That's what I would expect to see. Just get through the crisis and then go back and say, okay, what did we learn? What did we learn? And look back and go, then you can look back even at what happened during the crisis and how you interacted during the crisis and unpackage it using the skills that you learned and go, okay, let's look at what we did there. But wait until after the crisis is over because you don't want to try to process relationship stuff. I even said on my holiday webinar that if any of you attended the holiday webinar, when you're in the middle of the holidays or any kind of crisis, that's not the time to do intense relationship work. You just need to buckle up, put the seatbelt on, and get through it. And then look back afterwards and go, okay, what happened? What did we do there? Hope you're doing well, Charlene, by the way. It's good to see you. Always good to see your name. All right, you guys. Unless anybody else has a question for me. Does anybody have a question? Or we'll call it a year. Charlene says, yes, always setbacks, but afterwards, days later, reflecting on what occurred with clarifying. Yes. And there will be setbacks, you guys. That's life. It's life. But you know what? I was just telling a friend of mine today, don't forget to look down. And what I mean by that is imagine that this journey of life that you're on, that you're climbing a mountain, and really it's a mountain that you'll never get to the top, which is kind of distressing, but just imagine that you're climbing, and this relationship journey you're on, you're climbing the mountain, and you're constantly looking up and you see how far you have to go, but don't forget to look down to see how far you've come. Don't forget to look down and say, "Wow, I've come a long way." Because sometimes we keep looking up and we're like, "Oh my gosh, I still have so far to go." Because really the top is like, just imagine there are clouds up there and you can't even see the top. And so it just feels overwhelming and it feels like you'll just never get there. But then when you look down and you can see, I've come so far. You realize that you're nowhere near the bottom anymore. You've really accomplished so much. So don't forget to look down, you guys, to realize that you've come so far. Just being here, those of you who are watching this video and you're here, you've already come so far just by finding this channel and identifying that neurodiversity is likely a factor in your life and in your relationship. You've already climbed a ways up that mountain. That's huge. That's huge. It's a huge thing to realize. And if you're here and you're not sure, you don't know if neurodiversity is a factor, let's get that figured out. There's a go to my website, spectrumrelationships.com. There's a neurodiversity quiz. Click the link at the top. And if you can get your score right there. And if you want more, book a consultation with me and we'll talk through it and we'll get you some clarity on that. Okay. All right. I don't see any more questions. So I'm going to call it, you guys. Happy New Year. And I will see you in 2022. If you joined later, go hop on the community. Join. Let's see. I'm going to pull it back up, you guys, and show you real quick. Don't leave me yet. Hold on a second. I'm telling you what, I've got to learn how to do this technology better. Here we go. Here's the community that I was telling you guys about. If you weren't here at the beginning, that's just a welcome video.
Hi there,
right
I'm Jodi Carlton.
It's got a whole bunch of cool stuff in it. And this is the members only area where we talk about, it's like a Facebook feed, but also where you can keep up with everything that's coming up, like our Valentine's webinar, coaching groups. You won't miss a thing. So go over there and join spectrumrelationships.com and just click the community tab at the top. I hope to see you guys in there soon and have a happy new year. And I will see you guys in 2022. You said any words of wisdom? Oh boy. Well, I would say that my words of wisdom as you go into the new year is to pay very close attention to your expectations, because your expectations are what you're bringing to every interaction. That's stage one, remember? Pay close attention to your expectations. Look at your shoulds. Are you shoulding? I should, he should, you should, because those shoulds are directly related to your expectations. And then ask yourself, where do these expectations come from? And one of the things that I really want to challenge you all is to take a close look at what your we like to think about what we need from our partner. And I want you all to take a close look at what we need versus what we want. I did a video on this. And so I would encourage you all to go back and look at my video I did on this. I uploaded to YouTube a week or two ago, because a lot of what we believe we need is what we actually want from our relationship. And there's a difference. We do have certain basic needs, but there's a difference between what we need and what we want. And it's really important to get really clear in our head on what the difference is between what we need and what we want. Because needs are basic human needs, that connection and safety and security and closeness in a relationship. That, that's really different from what we want. And so that would be my words of wisdom for you, Charlene, and for all of you, is to be that detective that I'm always encouraging you to be, and break down and, ask yourself when you say, I need this, I need this, I need that from you. Ask yourself, is this a need, or is this a want? Is this a preference? Is this my personal preference? Is this what I like? Or, is this something I actually need? Because a need is closer to a deal breaker. A want, maybe not. So there you go. That's my words of wisdom as we go into 2022. I will see you guys for the next Q&A in 2 weeks, and I hope to see you guys in my coaching group where we can actually talk with each other and not me talk at you on January 5th. Enrollment closes on the 3rd, unless it fills up before then, which it did last time. It filled up. All right, you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.